Hello YTPC, what about you? Cass Piper Cassidy here. The following video is a little shared pipe with one of my best friends, Cryss Foster. The audio is not of the best quality, I do apologise, but I hope you find the chat interesting enough. We do delve into many topics related to the tobaccos we're smoking. Cryss tries Royal Yacht for the first time. That's interesting. And we have a look at some of his pipes and just a bit of general discussion. But again, we actually thought we'd lost some of the recording and then we recorded it again or another session. So we may repeat ourselves. I hope that doesn't seem strange, but I hope you enjoy the following conversation. Thank you. Hello YTPC, Cass Piper Cassidy here. I'm joined today with my bestest of buddies, Cryss Foster.
Cryss the unnamed Piper, Cryss the yet to be named Piper,
Cryss,
Cryss Viking Piper, Beardy Piper, Pied Piper, Cryss the Viking Pied Piper. I mean, you help me out here, guys. Who knows? Just Cryss.
Yes, as you can see, Cryss has got a lot more of the Celtic and Nordic genetics that are in Ireland, as opposed to me and more Indonesian look or something, or Jewish maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody in Ireland that isn't touched by Viking at least a little bit. You know, the laments of our great grandmothers. I know sometimes people, especially they might take offence as to being, what do you mean Viking? You're from Ireland, you're not Scandinavian. It's
a lot of things,
well, I mean, historically the Vikings, to Viking means to raid. The Vikings were raiders, and so they would have been out and part of that whole bit of rape thrown in, raping and pillaging. That's the traditional. So, all the people who weren't out raiding, they stayed at home in Scandinavia. So, your ancestors might just be not Vikings. You just stayed at the non-raiding sort of Scandinavians.
What you're saying?
So maybe I'm even more Viking than you.
If I have you right, the raping and pillaging was a favour because of the gene splicing. Giving us
I said yes. I do think I have a fair claim. I mean, Dublin was a Viking city founded, and hard to deny. Anyway, so I'm Cryss. Pleased to meet you at YTPC. Young Cass here has been trying to coerce me and convince me to join the throng of, good folks. But I've been lurking for a while now,
Please leave comments persuading this bastard to start making videos. He has a brilliant selection, a fantastic seller. Fantastic.
He said he wasn't going to swear.
No, we can't say the really bad words. We could say bastard, dick, piss, that kind of thing.
Piss swabs? Okay. So let's get to it. What am I smoking?
I'm going to try the Aaronmore Flake.
Aaronmore Flake. Yes, I had some Aaronmore Flake. I wasn't fussed with it. I have to say, I tried it in a couple of different pipes.
What didn't you like about it?
I just didn't. I didn't dislike anything.
Okay.
But I just wasn't particularly taken with anything.
Is it the late glandy topping? Is it?
I don't know. Even just at that time, I had been smoking. I'd been smoking St. Bruno, and I really liked sort of like the fresh hay cut light topping on that, and Aaronmore Flake just wasn't quite as good as that for me. So I think that's where it fell down, and then I also like a lot of other aromatics in that as well. They're more heavily flavoured, but.
So you don't, what is the topping?
I don't know.
Isn't it one of those miscellaneous ones?
Misk?
Yeah, so a vague sweetness. I think it has that florally one, similar to St. Bruno and St. Ogden's blend. Do you have a piece of paper or something handy? Or I'll just use this tin.
Oh, no, rub it onto, use the tin lid. And I'm going to be smoking today, I watched the review that Cass had put on of Royal Yacht, and I thought, boy, that sounds great. Can I have some of that, please?
I think you like it.
Certainly, if you'll make a video with me. And that wasn't the deal, he said yes, of course I could.
Bribery goes a long way in this house.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be smoking my Savinelli 673 KS Dolomiti.
The Dolomiti, it's a lovely pipe.
And
Lovely pipe.
folks, like I said earlier, recently got the self-adhering silicone tape. Look how thin that is. So instead of a rubber bit, I'm trying this. Cryss is really up for trying it, aren't you, Cryss?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think it's an awful idea. Why would you put a rubber hose around the end of your bit? Look, I know that it'll get worn down, it'll get scratched, it'll get scuffed, but then I'll get a new one, you know. I'll get a new one, and if I really can't get a new one that fits, and it really irritates me, that pipe will probably just get retired. I mean, that's maybe a bit wasteful, and if I ended up really loving the pipe, I might do everything I could to save it, but...
I think I'm going to try these, but I think...
You'll not get the bite on your teeth.
I'll just end up, yeah.
Oh.
But there's so many people that try and persuade you otherwise. Oh, you need to protect your stems, but pipes are there to be enjoyed, like you say.
Yeah.
You're right.
Today I'm going to be using my Eric Norden freehand, and I absolutely love this pipe. I love it.
Get a close shot.
Okay, yeah.
It's a beautiful, beautiful pipe.
So,
bought from Miss Moran.
Yes, bought from Miss Moran's. I've had it for a couple of years now. Two years. And I'm getting a little bit of a patina here, which is partially from the oils in my hand and partially from, hopefully, from the tobacco. I don't know if that's coming through or not, whether you can see it, but...
It's pretty good at focusing now.
We were in Ms. Moran's together, actually, in Cass, when I picked this up, and I
got my Peterson standard system.
you got the Peterson, but I must have tried out about 20 of these pipes just till I find one, because I have giant hands and just sat nicely in my hand.
Yeah.
It's like
the freehand in Cryss's Viking hand looks the same as a small pipe in anyone else's, a regular pipe in your hand.
But I absolutely love it.
Look at the colour now, right now.
Yeah, there is this patina coming through here, you can tell.
That was really quite pale.
Yes,
at the beginning.
This one is one of those ones that I think they dye the grain black when they're making it.
Right.
So they dye the pipe black and then sand it down again, so that only the grain stays black within it, and then the outer side, I don't know whether they put any sort of special cover or anything. I don't want to say anything wrong because I'm not sure.
Eric Norden be on the phone.
Yeah, Eric Norden be on the phone. But it seems like it's unfinished, and certainly the oils from my hand and the oils from the tobacco are seeping through there, and they've really darkened the colour, and I'm just loving it more and more and more. The only thing that I'll say, I suppose that there's a pro to it as well, that whenever if I'm sucking too hard on it,
that's what she said.
there's a little tiny whistle that comes.
And they say that that's a sign of turbulence, and that therefore is a sign that the steam gets separated from the smoke too early and disrupts the flavour. But I don't
do this.
I don't buy it. They do say that.
So that's a bad sign of a bad pipe?
Well, if you're sucking on it hard and you hear something, okay, that's normal. But if you don't hear anything,
it's a sign to me that I have forgotten myself and that I'm over-vigorous, overzealously enjoying the pipe.
It's whistling away.
Exactly. Although this pipe, it's a pretty big briar. It's really well seasoned inside, and it's pretty hefty, so it could
5 centimeters deep
it could take a bit of heat. Yeah, it is. It's a deep pipe. It's completely love it. Anyway, Royal Yacht, me please, good sir.
Here we are, good sir.
Thank you.
Right, so on the review I did, I stressed that I smell fig, not plum. What do you think? I smell fig.
Yeah, fig. I'm really plum, but I would say that's a fig pudding. Then
if you had to say, is that fig or plum, and your life depended on it?
That is figgy. Do you know what it tastes like to me? What are those little fig rolls?
Yes,
it literally tastes like fig rolls.
Because you got the breadiness of the Virginia.
Yeah. There's that sort of and it's slightly sweet. I would almost eat that as a fig roll.
Really nice.
I haven't had fig rolls in a long while, and now I'm in the mood for some.
Yeah.
So I would
there
say
was for the US viewers, sorry, we're talking about fig rolls, which are. I had an American guy try to describe an Elizabethan mixture smelling like a Tootsie Roll, which of course being Irish I've never tried. So a fig roll is like a Tootsie Roll, but it's got figs inside instead of cream that's been laced with heroin or whatever's in a Tootsie Roll. something like that.
Yeah.
But yes,
Preservative. This is sort of a glutton's pipe. You know, some says, oh, sure, fill a bowl full of this, and you're like, sure, where's my extra deep? Where's my extra deep Nordic pipe so I can really get a bowl's worth out of you? No. You're very generous, and my good, generous friend Cass here brought me a little gift from Miss Moran's today. I was very chuffed to see, you know, he had been prying me for what was on my want list, and
what's the next blend you're going to buy, Chris?
and arrived with it today. What a guy. Here, let me just show you what it is. Let me show you. I think maybe showed it earlier on today, did you?
I did, but it's nice to...
Mac Baron.
Scottish blend.
Scottish. It's the Scottish blend. What part of Scotland are you from?
Glasgow. Mate.
Glasgow. I'm from Glasgow. I lived in Glasgow a while now. So I did. I really did. I lived in Glasgow for a while. I really
What,
did.
your university years?
Yes. But a softer Scottish accent. Oh, I'll not. No, not that. I'll not.
Nicer.
I'll not offend everybody. You know.
Cushes, man.
Yeah. Do you know what's funny? We have a friend, and Cass just mentioned him there. And he has an accent much the same as ours. You know, we're from Lisburn, and much the same. And when he's on the phone to his mum,
or in person,
or he's the most Scottish person you've ever heard. He's like this really thick accent. It's unbelievable, you know.
He just switches like that when he's talking to his mum. It's like he's talking to you, going, yeah. Alright, mum, how you doing? And you're like, what? It's as if it's a different language for him.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Where are my accoutrements? Sorry to walk in front of the camera again here. In my pocket.
We'll have to get a wee separate video afterwards of your pipes and your homemade, handmade.
Yeah.
Chris can work with steel and wood and anything he put in his hands. He has a forge. He is going to start making videos, and they are going to be about pipes, and I think he could also have about all sorts of things: motorcycles, manufacturing, knives, and what else do you smith? What else do you smith?
Oh, I don't know. At the minute, I'm really into shosugi ban, which is like a Japanese system of burning wood to change the outer pattern of the grain, and then you oil it.
Okay. Oh yes. So you're actually using like a naked flame.
Like a naked flame. Yeah. Some people do it, and it's different than the you just sort of give it a bit of a burn, and it becomes patchy on the outside of it.
Right.
This is you burn right through to from the soft grain to the harder grain, and then oftentimes sand off the softer grain, which leaves the harder grain. Oh, you're all right. Thanks, stuff. My trusty Peterson.
Old boy.
My old boy pipe.
I've wanted one of those for so long, but I can't justify it. And then I go and spend 60 quid on a pipe. But you know what I mean. I need an old boy lighter. Everyone needs an old boy lighter.
So you're a bit spoiled today, Cass. You're out of the shed.
Yes.
This is a
rare occurrence, being able to smoke in a nice room.
Which is just, I've only just inherited, well, I've been living in this house for a year now, and this room had to lay dormant pretty much for a year before I could convince my wife that it was suitable for an outdoor,
It started with cigars. And,
yeah.
So pipes are better on the nose anyway.
Yeah. Well,
most blends.
I would say pipes are definitely better on the nose if you're not smoking them.
Yeah.
Cigars are lovely on the blend as well. I'm a big cigar fan. I smoked cigars long before I smoked a pipe. And I smoked a pipe a long time. On and off. I noticed on that video, I watched this video earlier on with Cass put on from Miss Moran's, and I have good memories of that too. Although there was a sister shop of Miss Moran's that used to be in Lisburn.
Havana House.
And he said, what was it he said, that 20 years ago you wouldn't have sold a pipe to anyone under 35, and I thought, it's not quite 20 years, but 18 years ago I bought my first pipe in Havana House, the sister shop of Miss Moran's, and it was a Peterson church warden pipe.
Do you still have that pipe?
Yeah, it's sitting right over there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Do you want this back? Okay. Let me get this lid first.
I can get it. Is it under here or something? Oh no. This is, here it is.
Now, It's back whenever the Peterson were still putting a silver band on their standard pipes. It's quite a fine pipe and it's ebony. And I just love it. But
ebony wood, yeah.
Yeah, it's ebony wood. Ebony and silver.
Look at that, folks.
First pipe.
So you can see there's the sterling silver mark on the band. And she says Peterson Church Warden on the other side. That is a beautiful pipe. It's kind of like a Darth Vader.
Yeah, it's quite old now. It was my goth years. You'll not forget. But
me and Cryss, we wouldn't be seen dead without black lipstick, eyeliner, and leather jackets, and waistcoats, and frilly shirts, and Interview with the Vampire was our.
It's being a teenager, you know, isn't it? And a teenager in your 20s. Yeah. So that pipe, the only issue with that pipe that I have is it's quite thin, and if you forget yourself, it can heat up, and then you're like, I've still got half a bowl to smoke. I don't know what to do. Do I just waste it now? And then I can't really use it again. So it's one of those. I have found myself. If you're careful with it, it's fine.
That's nice though. To be able to come back. Some people are really disciplined, and that is a technique of smoking. You know, on purpose, letting it go out several times.
Yeah. Mine would a lot. Sometimes I just, even when I'm like that, I forget to haul away in it. But
I'm too greedy.
Yeah.
I just puff away like a maniac. And like I said on in the interview earlier with Niall from Miss Moran's, like he helped me to. Because I approached him saying, I really like chocolate tobaccos, what's the best one? And then he gave me Kendall Mayer's chocolate flake, and I said, yeah, I've already tried that, it's not that good. And then he asked me, you know, what way you smoking it? And then I told him, and he was like, you're doing it all wrong. You need to fold it in, and you need to sip it, you need to take your time. Folks, if there's any, like the only tip I would give a new pipe smoker is just slow down, and then slow down some, because you're not going to taste a damn thing until you do. But
yeah, slow down. It's a fair tip. I find that very helpful over the years too. Even with cigars, like I remember being in, I used to work quite close, and I would pop in on a Friday for a cigar. And I had my favourites. Unfortunately, I like the expensive ones, the Monte Cristo No. 2s and the Portagas Serie Ds. But he would have always been very handy. He put me on the Olivas, and he showed me the Flor de las Antillas, my father. So I got that Cigar Aficionado's Cigar of the Year last year, and I was like, oh, happy days, you know. So I got a few good cigar tips from him, and tobacco as well for pipes.
yeah.
I remember, I went in and I thought, right, I'm trying these. It was some Latakia blend, and he said, you know that there's Orientals in that, don't you? And there's Latakia, and I'm like, yeah.
Just a warmer.
Yeah, he was really, he's like, I don't want you buying a pouch. Most people were like, yeah, take the money, but he was really good, and he advised me,
He said that his favourite is the St. James Flake, which I'd never tried.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd already bought the few tobaccos that I was going to buy. But by the end of him talking about it, I was like, okay, I gotta try this. It's a vapor. It's like Elizabethan mixture, Virginia Perique, but there's more Perique maybe.
Yeah.
So it's quite strong on the Perique.
I like a mild Perique, because, well, I like a lot of Perique at the start, and then by the end of the bowl, it's really got a nostril. It's sort of like eating a mustard sandwich with roast beef. It's lovely, but then if you take too much, it goes right up the you really know about it,
It tells you it's there. What do you think of the Royal Yacht?
It's gorgeous.
Yeah?
It's gorgeous, yeah.
I'm not getting an awful lot of
anything?
The flavour, the topping anyway, but it's not a bad tobacco.
Unremarkable.
I wouldn't be rushing to buy it.
Sorry.
No, I mean, I needed to try it.
No, I'm not sorry to you. I'm not sorry to you. I warned you what I felt on it. I'm sorry to the producers of Aaron were. I'm sorry.
Gallagher's, I think, didn't they? They used to make it in Belfast.
Probably that one. Tell you that if you go for a
bad. You need the retrohale to get any flavour out of it. Sorry.
I was just saying, there's a hell of a clench on that. If you're trying to It's a hefty one to you regret as your chin hits you.
Do you need some silicone tape?
I don't.
Do you want to wear this condom before having sex?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. No thanks.
Put on your socks to wash your feet. You know, I actually bought a church warden name for it as well.
A church warden what?
Stem.
Oh, really? Yeah.
For the same, yeah. From Northern, yeah. From has the lovely M on the top.
Where is it? Is it there?
Yeah. Just below the other church wardens.
Oh yes, there it is. Check out your knife while I'm here.
It's my plug cutter.
It's got a look at that. It's got the. Is that inlaid or? Oh no, I just think it's pin. It's nice though.
Yeah, but they're good. They're good stems.
Is it vulcanite? Nordic. Looks nice. Did they charge you, or did you explain the situation?
I bought it. I bought it online. You know, after I got it, I was like,
oh right.
Oh, I sort of wish this was a church warden, and then I had it as a church warden for a while. I went, no, I don't like this as a church warden. I want it as a regular.
It really suits that stem.
It does. It does. He knew what he was doing. Now, I was going to ask you something, and it's especially pertinent on a bowl like this, which is a big bowl, and it seems like I only lit this up, but I've already got a layer of ash on the top here. I'm nearly chuffing away too vigorously. And I don't like to light that again.
You what?
I don't like to light that again. You know what I mean? I don't like the flavour of lighting that again. So what I've been doing recently is just sticking the stick in and hooking it out, and then sort of I just been like get that ashy bit out.
Are you doing it regularly then?
Well,
I would only do
once
that
in the
once.
middle, once in the middle, yeah. But well, you look how far that's down already.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it is.
If it sorts
I
out
think
the
perhaps
flavour.
maybe I packed it a little light because but I don't like to overpack because if it's too tight then it's annoying and you're chasing a nice draw the whole way along. You know.
Might burn too hot if it's loose though, but.
It wasn't burning, it was burning. Not yeah. I know what you mean. If it's too loose, yeah. I know. I'm happy to do it. Well.
This is for your
Not
plug.
Yes, I
Nice
love that.
knife.
I love that wee knife.
Good knife. It's a nice knife. I like the handle on that too.
Yeah, and I like the way there's no point on it. It's inoffensive. It's not for anything other than
You
that
could
sort of chopping. You know,
you could take
sort of
that
like a razor, but it's not really. It's too thick to be a shaving razor.
with my Stanley knife. They make Stanley blades, but it's a company that very cheap on Amazon, less than 20 quid.
It's blackened. It's blunt.
Yeah.
It's blunt, and it's serrated down here, which means it's impossible to sharpen that part too, unless you've got like a wee tiny microfiles.
Yeah,
So
it's not a good knife. Like I just needed something on the fly.
he said it was cheap.
It was cheap. Does the job.
Yeah, absolutely. Forgot the back. Sorry, I forgot the purpose of it there.
I'm not joining the Navy SEALs.
Yeah, I might have came out. Too much talking.
But that would
Too
be
much
good.
talking.
You could even ream a pipe with this.
What?
You could ream a pipe out with this, since there's no point. You could. Do it manually.
You do not need like I thought, maybe I'm wrong, that you needed like a wee special drill with an edge in to properly ream out. Like there's a wee sort of what they call a pipe reamer on this, like a wee funny blade thing like that. But I thought when you get it properly reamed, I thought it was like a drill bit or something almost that you sort of screw.
Yeah, there is one that I can't remember what they call it that has the three.
Like when you're doing a
blades.
tap and die or something, you know, it's like tapping a new thread on a pipe.
Right.
I don't know. Never done it.
This is a reaming knife. This is an antique. Got it from eBay. Sheffield steel. That's a reaming knife. So you can use it. That's what the old boys used to use, you know.
It's like a hobbit's butter knife. I like that Dolomite. I haven't seen it in person yet. It's
Nice, isn't it?
yeah.
It's a good thick.
Bowl.
It's nice to. I've been smoking the meerschaum a lot, and even though I said I wasn't gonna be a dickhead about it, I am kind of
You've been
not
dickhead about it?
touching it. Yeah, I'm being a dickhead. I'm holding it like a cigar sometimes, just to not get my dirty hands on it. So it's nice to
I
hold
would
the pipe.
sometimes do that, but with a billiard anyway.
Yeah.
Only with a billiard.
Just
Like I
billiards.
wouldn't be holding this. Like I could, but occasionally with a billiard, I'll find my fingers just pop round. But that's I'm used to. It'll be like a Robusto or a Toro cigar I would smoke, so that's a fairly thick. So I'm used to.
Yeah. It's nice to hold it like that sometimes. When you get an immersion, have you looked at Ali Berinci's site?
I have. I go down the rabbit hole. I don't know if anyone else has these problems when they're considering a purchase, and you look at something and you think, okay, there's a decent one for 60 quid, but maybe it's a bit thin. So what about that one for 80? Well, that's a bit better, but I prefer the stem of this one that's 100. If I'm going to spend 100, I might as well spend 120 and get one of these that I really like. But 120 is a lot of money, especially when considering you can get like one of those master carvers who'll carve one for 160, and then you're like, okay, well then for 200 I can get one of those backy, freaky backy pipes or whatever, and he's like the master.
Or was he Austrian or no? Was he
Turkish?
Was he Turkish? Oh,
Yeah,
from
but he's the one that the Ali now, the AliExpress, the Chinese suppliers
Right.
they have sold.
What's the famous? There's an Austrian make buyer or something. That's a famous Mercian carver from Austria, I think. Can't remember. I'm talking nonsense.
I don't know that one.
Oh, in honor of our good friend Bradley, Stuff and Things, we're
Yes, Bradley.
drinking
This
Dr.
is
Pepper.
for you.
One thing you can get in Ireland and America.
It's lovely. It's lovely.
It's a long time since I've had one. Goes well with tobacco, especially
It
the
does.
funny ones or figgy ones.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not sure how much. Yeah, actually, do you know what? I'm gonna admit it. I was just enjoying that. I maybe didn't quite savor it like I probably, because I'm chatting away here. That I wasn't honing in and focusing on the flavors. I just enjoyed enjoyed a lovely smoke with a friend. It's like a terrible review.
I want a written review on my desk first thing in the morning.
No.
And don't forget the apple.
Yeah.
Foster!
Dear.
I've been headmaster of this school for nigh on 40 years. I buggered your grandfather and I'll bugger you.
Yes, very much enjoyed that. Anyway, it was very pleasurable the whole way through.
Did you find the topping disappeared?
Mm-hmm.
Was it about halfway or first third or?
It's usually, I rarely would enjoy an aromatic in the second half as much as it's not enjoy, but I rarely find the same, flavours.
Yeah.
Some of them, there's the odd tobacco I find that by the last third of the bowl I was like, am I bothered to,
This needs to go out.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're gonna have a second bowl, I've also brought some Amphora original and the chocolate flake Kendall Mayer selection, so you should definitely maybe have a second bowl.
I maybe will. Because we're in this room, I might say there might be a bit of echo because I'm still decorating at the minute, putting paintings up and whatever, and trying to get some. Yeah,
do you want to see what paintings he's putting up, folks? He was on a trip to Cuba. I don't know, can I show this? It's art. It's art. You're allowed to show art. But yeah, that's hand painted street artist in Cuba.
Yeah.
Very nice. There's a good few up here, folks.
Do you know who that is?
You,
No.
Sean.
It's a bald guy.
But who painted it?
No, I painted it, but
That's nice, isn't it?
to the target is. Well, I went for an impasto because it's who it is. It's Arthur Mitchell from season 4 of Dexter. I was so inspired. Who's played by John Lithgow. If anyone who doesn't know who Arthur Mitchell is, that's my portrait of John Lithgow as a serial killer. He was so dark, and it stayed with me for so. It was the best season of Dexter by far. It stayed with me for such a long time that I just was like, and I was painting a bit at that time. I just wanted to Actually, that frame's done in that Shosugi ban. You know, that's burnt frame. So if you rub the grain, you'll see that the hard grain's on the outside, and that's been oiled.
Oh yeah.
So that was just a standard pine, you know, done in the Shosugi ban that I made for that.
Did you only frame this recently then?
Yes, fairly recently.
That's really nice. Very nice.
So yes, I wanted to do like a heavy sort of impasto because that was his psychotic character. You know, you get this haze about his face, and it just really inspired me to try and capture that.
I only ever saw the first season of Dexter. Maybe I should pick it up again.
I don't know. It's one of those shows that ends so badly that I wouldn't recommend to anyone now. You know, and it's like not even that the last couple of seasons would have been free. Season 4, I think, was the pinnacle. But the ending was so terrible. It's like Game of Thrones. I don't recommend it to anyone. I don't recommend it to myself. It's like it did not exist. And I was in a tiny little bit of it as well. I was rowing Kit Harington and around in the quarry.
For those of you, we live near Belfast. Belfast has, I think it's the biggest indoor film studio in Europe.
It certainly was, yeah. The Titanic, because it's where they painted the Titanic, which was like, as you probably know, massive.
Yeah.
So it was the paint hall for the Titanic, and that they converted that into a castle. They actually converted it into a castle for a film called Your Highness, that I was also in as an extra. Sorry, I say in. I spent a few days as an extra, you know.
Yeah. You were in it?
Yeah.
There was no falsehood.
I shared a cigarette with Charles Dance at the back of the set at one stage. You know, he was in his kingly robes and hoiking it up, and I was like, having a cigarette, and he popped out. Yeah, he was a lovely fella.
So consequentially, we get lots of stars, and there's the Northern Irish Extras, which is if you sign up and you look like a Viking, for example,
department, not
extras,
yeah.
they'll give you a call, and if you're any good, a thespian, then they'll take you on. And
A thespian.
A
thespian. That was lovely.
Yes, this is, I think, it's unremarkable, like you said, but it's not unpleasant.
Yeah,
it's
not unpleasant. It would be unfair to say that it's unpleasant, but when there's so many beautiful smokes to be had, you know, it's just not winning.
Show your handmade. Cryss makes tampers.
I made a tamper.
He made a tamper, and we'll have a short video afterwards that shows the pipe rack as well. But like, look at that.
It's just a composite piece of wood, and I wanted to keep it quite thick so you would actually get to see the wood.
See the
That's a bit of brass shell that I acquired, put on the bottom.
Ask no questions, we'll tell you no lies. Where did the ammunition come from, Cryss?
Someone shut up sometime, obviously. I don't know. So yeah, no, I don't know, when I take the fancy, I'll try my hand at making a few things, whatever, but you know, it's really only for myself. I don't do anything in big supplies it's not an industry or anything.
You'll be commissioned shortly when you start your YouTube. He's gonna start YouTube.
The thing is about commissions, like even, it's like I once talked to a guy and he did upholstery. He said, you must be the same as me, because I was showing him, I'd made a few little skein doos, little Scottish belt boot knife, you know, I made it an antler horn, put the brass guard, and I made them myself out of carbon steel for no other reason than it's, you know, better sharp. So I made these, and I was showing them to him, and he says, you'll be the same as me. He says, people will ask you to do that and think that you can somehow do it cheaper, but you know, he said that for the cost of, because he's not buying everything in bulk, by the time he had bought all the equipment in at a higher price, and then spent the hours making it, it's like, if I was to do this to charge anyone, he said, yeah, well, I'll do it for a gift for somebody, but if I was to do it to charge someone, and I'd even charge myself minimum wage, it would be twice the price of what you could go out and buy it for somewhere, you know, for someone who does it, you know, or even a craftsman who makes it, you know, it's just, that's it. The economy doesn't fit.
It's counterproductive.
Yeah, I actually had those wood. That's
Are they three different woods then?
Yeah, you know, 2 different woods. I don't know what the centre wood is because I got it as scales for a knife and then lost it and then found it again and couldn't find a receipt for what it was. But these are actually bits of a from a fretboard of a cigar box guitar that I made. So they were left over from the fingerboard.
So why was it destroyed?
Because I had extra, because I'd cut it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I had extra, extra
I
piece.
thought you meant
No, it wasn't destroyed. I made a cigar box guitar for my father using my father's cigar box.
There you go.
But hobby project.
Was it is it wired as well?
Yes, he wanted one. Not only he wanted the hardest type. Most cigar box guitars, I mean, the whole ethos of a cigar box guitar is that it's meant to be simple. It's like a broomstick with a cigar box. Someone who couldn't afford a guitar, he wanted one that was electric. You know, so he could plug it in because he plays little folk bands. So he actually plays live. So we wanted something he could plug in if he needed to. Okay, so that's one added complexity. But then even more complexity, he wanted a resonator. So I had to get a resonator cone. And because there's a resonator cone built in, you can't have a through neck, which means you have to have a bolt-on neck or a glued neck,
right.
Which means it's even harder to... And then you have to fit the electrics in. It turned into quite engineering feat to get it all together. But it worked, and it was tuned, and it was, you know, and he also wanted a fretter too. I was like, so no frets? He's like, no, maybe we would like frets. I was like,
that's a really...
So then
how do you even get that right?
Well, I bought a fret ruler for that and marked them all out perfectly, you know, as to how the frets could be, you know, and I just had to measure the neck. But I should have just bought the whole neck. But then I hand sanded the neck and shaped it, because I didn't use a truss rod because there's not going to be the same strain. There's only 4 strings, so there's not going to be the same strain on the neck. And I left it a little bit thicker because it is just a more squat shape. I was able to leave it a little thicker, so it's less likely to warp. And because I used a composite, sometimes people might use a fingerboard because I have the fingerboard on top. It means it's less likely to warp.
You're a guitarist as well, aren't you? Play guitar.
I dabble, yeah.
All good guitarists say that.
Yeah,
Very humble.
It's true.
You're very humble.
I'm alright. I probably could be quite good if I dedicated the time to it, but as you can probably gather already, I have far too many hobbies to be at, you know. And I have two young kids, so.
He does, he's got 2 children.
2 children. Well, this is why I'm outside, in an outside room.
Yeah, those children's lungs, you know, we have to look after those, don't we?
They're not even allowed in this room.
I remember growing up, cigarette smoke all over the damn place.
It's fine.
That was in the 80s and nobody cared.
This isn't going to cut it.
You don't think?
Neutral. Works alright, but I think there's definitely a smell of smokiness in here. I suppose if I left it for a while, a week or so, it might come back and it would be nice, but you know, I'm trying to stay away from soft furnishings as well. But since it's only me in here, and the occasional guest.
It's a beautiful room.
Yeah, I think it'll be good whenever I finish decorating.
What else is going up on the walls?
I want like a nice eclectic style. Like I see, initially I wanted like a Cuban-y sort of theme because it was going to be a cigar room, and then
grapevines along the top.
I don't know. I was going to do like a lime wash on the walls, but I don't know. I think I'm just going to put
that'd be nice
bits and pieces on it. I think I'm going to paint it now. I think the stark white is fairly Cuban, like a whitewash sort of look as well.
Yeah.
Right, I can have another bowl then if you're going to have another bowl.
Absolutely. I think I'll probably go for the amphora.
Okay.
If you're in the mood for a nutty, burly forward blend amphora, if you're in the mood to try the chocolate flake, then I'll go for it. It's up to you. Or if you want more Royal Yacht, of course.
I've been loving the sort of chocolatey flavours from the 70s.
Did you know?
Captain Black 70s.
I didn't know that. I had to pretend that I knew that today.
Of course I know that. Of course.
He says, and then after he said 70s, I went, 70s, you know, yeah. Like, this Captain Black, you know, is marketed, and of course we know it as. And I went, yeah, of course.
I did learn a lot on that video today, you know, I've already watched it, and
he's a
I
great
learned
guy.
a lot, yeah, I learned a lot from that, you know. But of course, that they need to be food standard to be over here. And
yeah, I knew that. But Niall had a bit of a reputation as quite a stoic man sometimes, or not approachable sometimes, so I'm really glad that he isn't like that at all. He's a very nice man, very approachable, and was a gentleman today.
Yeah. If you show proper interest in the time, really help you out. So he's advised me on pipes, cigars, everything, and you know it's part of the fabric of Belfast now. That Miss Moran's, you know, you want to support the brick and mortars. You know, I know that the time of the shop is almost on an end. You know.
Yeah. But I asked him some
Excuse me, folks.
some loaded negative questions like, what do you think is the state of play with the new regulations, blah blah blah, and he just mentioned, I was expecting doom and gloom, and it's going to be a luxury commodity, tobacco and pipes, it's going to get really expensive, all that stuff that you hear sometimes, but he didn't say that at all. He was very kind of positive about younger people coming into the store buying pipes and tobacco, and I didn't hear anything negative at all, which is really good. I'm just glad, because I was expecting it to be, you better buy all tobacco you can today, son, and run.
Yes, I think cigars, they say it might end up as a luxury product. You have to remember, something's like in a single cigar, there's a whole cigarette box worth of tobacco. You know, and climate change and what have you, you know, some of these areas that were once very perfect for growing tobacco are maybe now less hospitable. No, that's certainly the case for grapes, wine grapes. I don't know. I'm hoping that in Northern Ireland, eventually roll on like 50 years, I'll not be around 50 years, but roll on 20 years maybe and a few degrees up. We'll have a perfect climate for growing wine, and then, you know, maybe my grandchildren will be growing tobacco here at some stage, you know. Savinelli.
Only the best. They didn't have Savinellis in this brand.
I know, I'm surprised. Hard to get. I was amazed when he said wait 3 years to get, you know, some certain, you know.
Petersons, yeah.
Petersons, you know. I suppose they're not made in Ireland anymore, are they?
Are they not? No, they're not. You're right.
Well, I know the tobacco at least went to Denmark. Yeah. But maybe. Check that. You link it.
Check that
out. Subtitles. This was wrong. We were wrong. It's still made in Dublin. Peterson's of Dublin. Is that what it says? I don't know if it says it.
It does. K&P in Dublin, I think.
Yeah, I'm Dublin.
And that £1,400 pipe, I wouldn't mind getting that. Like, it's nice.
Although £1,400 pipe, would I prefer 7 Dunhills, or, you know, or 7, you know, like a couple of Dunhills and a couple of Nordings and a couple of Petersons and a couple of, you know, you could probably get 10 really nice pipes out of that money, or
you could.
But you wouldn't have that pipe.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the ones with silver caps on them.
Yeah,
I imagine that would get very tarnished and all. And silver gets very tarnished. I'm wearing silver at the minute, and it's very tarnished.
Yeah.
This lovely Thor's hammer, and it oxidizes, and I imagine adding heat to that, it's going to oxidize a lot.
Yeah.
And lose.
I like the spigots, but not the cap.
Yes, I like the spigots, but not a cap. It seems like unnecessary ornamentation.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be, you know, using a gourd calabash, which is like the most ostentatious of pipes. But
if you're interested, Uncle Phil's cellar, you put in a bid. He's got a gourd calabash. I think the latest bid
is it a closed bid?
No, it's open.
So you openly bid for it, and the highest bidder is it?
I think it's an open. Yeah, you just get in touch with him privately. Does that mean it's closed? What's that mean?
Yeah, that's closed.
Sorry, closed bidding then.
So everyone bids, and you have to sort of guess what your neighbour's going to bid.
Oh no, he'll let you know that you've been outbid.
Right. Okay.
So,
okay.
you know,
okay. Yeah. Because those closed bids, it's like, we're not going to tell you what everyone else is bidding, in the hope that you bid 20% higher than your nearest competitor.
But the bidding's going till the end of November, and the money's going to charities, so it's good.
Oh, happy days.
I'll send you a link.
I've always fancied smoking one, but I'd sort of be precious about where it's stored and what sort of rack or whatever it would be, like almost like a wall mount, you know, on its own.
Like next to your old guns.
Yeah, the old flintlocks. I wish I had some of those too. I hate that whenever you think you've drawn away in your pipe and you think, nah, that's done. It definitely tastes done. I can feel it's near the bottom, and you scrape it out and you're like, it wasn't done. It wasn't done,
But if it isn't tasting,
but it was done.
Yeah.
It was done.
if it's not tasting good, dump it out.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. What are you gonna? Well, plus we're on a third pipe within the space
Yeah.
of about an hour, you know. So maybe even my tongue is tingling with nicotine right now, you know. So we're at that stage.
But it's been good.
It has been lovely to enjoy a pipe with a good old friend.
If we had the full a lot of footage, it would be about 2.5 hours now, I think.
You need to cut that up.
Yeah. But listen, folks, thanks for joining us. Me and Cryss will do this again sometime, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Get you out of that shed.
Yeah. And we'll get his channel up and running ASAP.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks for watching, folks.
Nice to see you.
Yeah. See you again soon.
All the best.
Thank